Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show tonight. It is September the 13th. September 13th, already September the 13th, 2017. This was the week of 9/11, so condolences to all those people who lost loved ones, friends, family members, co-workers, neighbors in the horrific, tragic 9/11 attacks on the Twin Towers. Do you remember what you were doing on that day? But before we go into that, welcome in, Featherlight. How are you?
Namaste. Namaste. I'm great. How are you, Black Rose?
I'm well. I'm very well. Very, very well. Very well. Yeah, especially after going through all this Hurricane Harvey and the aftermath and recovery and relief, my goodness. So, yeah, we made it. We made it. But we did not. And then, yes, this Hurricane Irma just swept through the Caribbean and Key West, Florida. Oh, my goodness. Mm-hmm. That has been horrific. And I believe I did see a report of there were some senior citizens at a nursing home. They did not make it through this flood. Remember that photograph of the senior citizens in this nursing home here in Dickinson, Texas, where the hurricane and the tornado hit. And that's when actually Houston really started gaining more, I guess, newsworthy reporting, in a sense, when that photograph went viral. Because I remember seeing it, and then people began to post it, and then the mainstream or lamestream news, as some people refer to them, corporate media, began to discuss the story, report on the story, and oh my goodness, and then finally National Guard came in and began to save people. But before National Guard came in, people were already rescuing people in Houston, in the Houston area, Houston, Spring, Beaumont, Port Arthur, Dickinson, all over Corpus Christi, Rockport. People were rescuing people all over, so we didn't wait on the National Guard in the Houston metro area. Because I believe the initial deployment of National Guards was only about 1,000, which we have like over 6 million people here in Houston, and it was so many areas that were affected. But oh my goodness. And then we took that stroll today through the neighborhood right across the street from where I live, and oh my goodness, it just looks like a disaster area, a complete disaster area. It's so horrible. I mean, imagine all of your possessions, the contents of your home are now in front of your home.
Everything.
Your
sofa, literally. Your refrigerator, your china cabinet, your drawers, your clothes, half your wall,
your cars. How many cars? How many tow trucks did we see hauling away cars?
Oh man, I lost count. Yeah. Covered in dried mud.
Yeah. I pray for those people and send my strength. I do more than pray for them, because faith, faith without works is dead, and prayer without action is none. So nil. So we have Oh, speaking of which, and we'll give this donation page out. I guess I'll go ahead on and share this. But how about we just go back? Because I got all into discussing Harvey and the tragic nature of this. Let me just let everyone know that tonight we have our counselor and spiritual priestess Laura coming on to speak with us. And I believe her last name is Djakpa, Laura Djakpa. She'll pronounce it for us properly, because I have a habit of butchering names sometimes. on some occasions, very rare occasions. But anyway, she'll be here to speak on overcoming difficulties, difficult circumstances, and as well as social rejection through spiritual awareness. So getting in tune with yourself and your inner self, and just speaking about how to navigate your way through these difficult times through spiritual awareness. And oh my gosh, she comes with quite a bit to her background in terms of her specialty areas of readings and remote viewing. And I recall watching a documentary on remote viewing, how the CIA uses remote viewing for warfare and intelligence gathering. So I'm looking forward to hearing her speak about remote viewing. Also, for our African Spirit segment, we will honor Queen Mother Moore from up in Harlem, USA. So, Further Light, you want to give them the email where they can send their letters and questions and how they can reach us?
Yes, Mind, Body, and Spirit responds to your letters about life, your spiritual journey, health, relationships, dating, career questions, love, sex, etc. in the Ask MBS segment, Mind, Body, Spirit. You can send your letters to Mind, Body, Spirit Radio Show at gmail.com. So no space, Mind, Body, Spirit Radio Show at gmail.com. For hot news, topics, and more, please tune in to listen to us at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can log on to blacktalkradionetwork.com to hear our show or call in to speak at 866-510-9025. That's 866-510-9025. So join in the enriching discussions that always take place on the Mind, Body, and Spirit Show. Da-da-da. I feel like tap dance. Da-da-da.
Yes. You do it then, Cap Calloway. Shoot. All right now. Thank you. Yes, and you can also log on to uberconference.com/Black Talk Radio Network. You can always log on to Black Talk Radio Network and donate to keep these radio shows coming to you. So please do that. And you can always, I love those Black Talk Radio Matters t-shirts. We have two, and we need some more. So you can always donate. You can donate any amount to keep Black Talk Media and Radio alive, because I love Scotty's like news blips with his music and just giving us a quick update on a news topic or sharing his insight to a particular news topic. So yes, we'll adopt that.
He gives very good different perspectives. I like his perspective. Yeah, it's like, okay, I hadn't thought about it like that. Makes sense.
Another view, another perspective.
Yes,
which I appreciate.
Intelligent view.
Even if I'm not always in agreement with someone else's view, I respect their view, and I try to learn from their view or gain some insight, gain some type of insight, or maybe a new thought or a new perspective. And sometimes I just don't agree with it, but that's their perspective or opinion or thought. So, anyways, people can donate to those recovering from Hurricane Harvey, and many of those people affected in the Houston metro area, as we mentioned, the Spring area, Spring, Texas, which is about a 35-minute drive outside of Houston, not far at all. That particular area was completely underwater. And the area by Barker Cypress, which is not far from where I live, the community has come together and they're filing a lawsuit because they're saying although the city had to release the bayous and the dams and all of that for their particular purposes, nevertheless, the residents should be compensated because they've lost everything. And if you, it's different, just seeing the maybe the images of some of the destruction. But when you drive down a street or in a neighborhood and it's just street after street after street of people's homes having to be emptied completely. Yeah. Yes. You see your whole life on the curb. Woo, right. Your whole life. And you're trying to sort out old photographs and things like that because that's all that you can preserve. But none of the furnishings, maybe like the grandfather clock that's been passed down from generation to generation, or that new sofa, that new mattress, all that has to go. Because so many of the neighborhoods were in 4 or 5 feet of water. Oh, my goodness. I just can't even imagine. But guess what? I'm still moving to Galveston. I'm still moving to Galveston. Don't care. I am moving to Galveston because now Houston is beginning to be a complete flood zone because there are no safe areas now. Some of these neighborhoods that were under water never had flood issues. So those people did not have flood insurance. So what we want to do is help many of those people recover because people have lost their cars, people are out of work, people are already in debt trying to, number one, clean their homes because you have some of these people, of course, coming into the neighborhoods. And they have varying prices for what they're charging for their services depending on the devastation of your home. And some people, of course, can't afford that. So people in the community have to come together to help clean the home. Some people, of course, can't afford $800 to $1,000 to bring a company in to strip out their walls and pull up their floors and move all the furniture out. Some people cannot. So what I've loved and greatly appreciated and gained more respect for Houston and the Texas period is the fact that so many neighbors have come together, so many different organizations coming together to go and help these people pull out their drywall and sweep and wash down the china that was preserved and things like that, or take a sofa out to the curb. So that's just been absolutely wonderful. So that's the aftermath. Even though these people were rescued, many of these people have had to move out of these homes, beautiful homes, some small homes. Luxurious homes. Yes. Yes, some small homes.
From meager to magnificent.
Yes, Harvard did not discriminate. And so I think about the people that experienced that, and now they're having to transition to maybe a downsized apartment because they just lost their home. And they can't live in it for about another year, 6 months to a year at least. So, oh my goodness, I just couldn't imagine going through that. I really can't. So that's why I say I send my strength out. And not only that, we want to also be prepared for the next hurricane or flood. We're still not out of hurricane season. Hurricane season extends until November, something like that. I can't think of the exact date, but the month of November. So we want preparedness teams. We want to assist people, many who have not received any money from FEMA, the Red Cross, J.J. Watts Foundation. There's no way to tap into that money. People don't know how to put their name on the list to receive that money, those monies. I've spoken with some of these people personally, and they spend time searching on the Internet trying to find out how can I have some of that FEMA money because I lost everything, including my baby's new shoes for school that was supposed to start this month. They're starting this month. Anyway, so we have a youcaring.com fund, youcaring.com / Hurricane Harvey victims 93812. We will tweet that out and have it on our page. And also you can log on to Black Talk Radio Network and you will see the link also. So donate what you can, $2, $5, $10, $500, whatever you can, because as I mentioned, many of these people cannot even afford to have their items removed. They have to pay for that unless some organizations come and assist them. That's why it's so important, people, to be connected to the right people and some groups. You have to do that. Otherwise, many times like this, you will find yourself on your own. So have some groups. Be connected with some people. Make acquaintance with your neighbors. So last week, if you missed last week's show, would you like to share anything on the Harvey and any?
I will just. I was just going to do a quick review of some of the items to prepare for, some things to put in your emergency bag. Just review from last week.
Well, what about that lady that's offering? I think the services you did say you want to mention. Yes.
Oh yes. Speaking of neighbors and communities coming together during times of strife, this one group, they are offering free massages to those people affected by Hurricane Harvey, whether it be flooding or stress. Even if there were some people like myself and Black Rose who did not suffer flooding, but it was the stress. Okay, another tornado warning. Is it coming this way? Well, it's up the street. I went up the street, and in her area, she went just a couple of blocks and could see the water rushing towards that way. So that's stress.
Like
so this
stream.
Massage, yes, like a stream. And so they're offering free massages, 15 minutes of free massage, because your body goes into flight or fight mode during times like these, and it's not good to keep it in that mode. It's good to have the flight or fight mode so that you can act, so you can react and save yourself. But sometimes we don't know how to bring ourselves out of it. We stay tensed up, we stay ready, we stay hyper, and that is it's equivalent to getting in your automobile and you turn the ignition on and then you go they call it revving up your motor or whatever, and you continue to do that. You don't ever drive it, you just continue. That's going to bring harm to your vehicle, and it will bring harm to your body as well. So we need to stop and breathe, and the massages are a wonderful way to kind of bring you back down to the other modes so that you can, where do we go from here, kind of thing. So I thought that was a really good thing. I have signed up. Mine is Thursday. So I thought that was
how can they sign up?
Another good way. How can they sign up? Okay. Let me see.
Well, you can just share it later. You want to go ahead on and... Okay, just share it later. Okay. Go ahead on and give your spoken word, because our guest should be calling in soon, Laura, and I'm so anxious to hear from her.
Okay.
Because she is an ancestral priestess. Priestess. Yes.
All right, okay. Spoken word.
Good word. Gave you your snaps. We need a crowd of snaps. Just snap. Everybody snap with us. We'll feel the energy. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Introducing to the light. Light your candle.
All right.
Sit back.
Okay. Tonight I will do for you Let's just guess. You told me I was free. You told me I was free. So I'll have to go into character. So this is kind of call me off. I'll have to I was enslaved on a plantation. Years. My ancestors taken forth and brought this far land, free labor. My clothes, quarters, my friends and one were dictated by us. I was told when to bed, when to rise, when to eat. I was fed slop, unfit for an animal, and my free time, if there was such a thing, was restricted. My everyday labor was for the profit and greed of others, and I was beaten, raped, punished at will, with no consequences at all to my offenders. My punishment for small infractions were inflicted for humiliation and separation, and could often be deadly. And I dare not raise a hand in defense of even my own child, or I would surely be put to a horrible and merciless death. I was property. I had no rights and no free will. And then there was a war to which I was invited. I was also the prize to the winner of this war. I was given a gun, yet still treated like an animal. What an irony this was. It was a bloody war, yes, sir. Lasted for some time, that war, and many lost their lives on both sides. And when it was finally over, they said I was free. Free. To do what? To work and get paid? To own my own children and wife? To build my own home on my own land? To buy my own food? I can even learn how to read in the daytime. Slavery is no more. Sound the alarm. I'm free.
No.
Fast forward 150 years. In the spirit world, I hear there's a new slavery in town called the prison industrial complex. Laws have been created to fill these prisons with those who mostly look like me. Some are there for life, even when no bodily harm was inflicted on another. My clothes, my quarters, my comings and goings are dictated by others. I am told when to go to bed, when to rise, and when to eat. I am fed slop, unfit for an animal, and my free time, if there is such a thing, is restricted. My everyday labor is for the profit and greed of others, and I am beaten, raped, and punished at will with no consequences to my offenders. My punishment for small infractions are inflicted for humiliation and separation, and could often be deadly. And I dare not raise a hand in my own defense. Oh, I know what's good for me. I am property. I have no rights and no free will. And you told me I was free, and I believed you. Namaste.
Beautiful.
Oh, powerful. Powerful,
Very
powerful.
powerful.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Featherlight. Thank you so much for sharing that. We love your spoken word. We love your spoken word, Feather. I have to give you another snap. Yes.
Yes, we should keep in mind what the 13th Amendment says. there is still slavery. It's just
Still
by another
slavery.
word.
Still, that
Same
physical
thing is going
slavery
on.
and mental slavery, which our guest Laura is going to help many people with, that spiritual, mental enslavement, and how you can overcome those difficulties through your spiritual awareness. So we want to go ahead on and welcome in counselor, author, spiritual priestess, author of The Left Hand of the Vagina, Balsamic Moon Voyager, and The Left Hand of the Vagina, The Mystic, Amazon. You have to go into these names for us. But let's welcome you in. Welcome, welcome.
Peace and love.
Welcome.
Peace and love, goddesses. How are you, sister goddesses? How are you? Peace and love on the journeys. Peace and love to you. How you doing?
Namaste. So great
well,
to have
official.
you.
I am a storm refugee.
You are a storm refugee. You are a victim of Irma.
Yes, and you know something? It's not as bad as I thought it would be, because that was a powerful cleansing and healing all in one. And whatever I was holding on to and wanting to stay, if I go back home, it's not there, oh well, time to move forward and keep moving forward.
And keep moving forward.
You're forced to surrender. Yes.
So you did have some flooding because you're in Florida, and so hurricane.
Well, not now. I'm not back there yet. I haven't been home yet. I have no idea what's there, but my area was hit pretty bad.
Your area. Oh my goodness. Now, what area of Florida do you live
in? I'm in Winter Haven. I'm in the middle of the state in Polk County. I'm near Legoland area. So what I understand, it was hit pretty bad by the eye.
Oh, goodness. Now, we were talking about the eye of the storm. Could you share some of that when you speak about the eye of the storm?
You know how the hurricanes have many, they have tornadoes inside it and lightning inside it and all kinds of activity. But what was the most powerful thing the weather person said was that the eye was reconstructing itself. I said, look at this third eye shape shifting. Here's a storm reshaping its eye. It gave me chills. It gave me chills because it would pass through, serve its purpose, and just knocking everything out of its way, doing its cleansing, doing a forced healing. And you know, I have condolences for those who lost, their loved ones, of course. But the fact that it reconstructed its eye to move to the next target, that gave me chills. I said, look at this thing reconstructing its eye. That's powerful.
Very powerful.
And that's what we have to do as a people, reconstruct our spiritual eye so we can heal from 300 years of the oppression and what we've been through and the atrocities. We have to reconstruct our spiritual eye in every aspect of the word so we could not only heal but bring up the healing from those coming behind us. It's difficult, but we got to make a little effort, just a little bit.
Surviving and looking at your life and spiritual awareness. My journey to Florida, ironically, I lived with my cousins in Miami for a short time in Miami, Florida. And I tell you, that was when I began to practice yoga more. I was near the beach, so I would go out on the beach and practice yoga, Tai Chi. This is when I had like a third eye opening because I started reading about past life regression classes or readings that you could have. And I was like, what is this? Oh, my goodness, I've never heard of this, but it sounds so familiar, and it sounds like something I could be very interested in, just tapping into my past lives for those people that are into past lives. So I just thought about that when you were speaking about Florida and the cleansing, and I've heard people say that water is a cleansing. That's why for baptisms you're dipped in the water or the river, and all these horror films or something like that. A film always has the person in the bathtub and then they're sucked in the water. It's just something significant about the water, and you go into or these films and the scenes where the person is in the tub and then all of a sudden they go down the drain into another world, another dimension, and all of that. So when I've heard people speak about water being a cleansing and it washes away, and when you see these hurricanes or strong storms like this, that's washing away and cleansing away some of that needs to be discarded, jettisoned out of here. So before we get more into that, though, let's talk about you and your background and your book. How did you come up with this name, you're the author of The Left Hand of the Vagina, The Misfit Amazon, which I just finished reading. A very, very great read. People do check our book out.
The Left Hand of the Vagina is because I was in the streets for so long. You're right. If you're the right hand vagina, I'm a good girl. I did the right things. I did this and that. I went to church on time, and on Sundays I followed the rules of life. But a left hand vagina, you're in the street, you're partying, getting high, doing things you have no business, and catching hell. So that's why I named it the Left Hand. And the Misfit Amazon, she's the one who finds herself close to nature, falling in love with herself. And even though she doesn't fit anywhere in society anymore, she accepts it and becomes at peace with herself during her healing.
Laura, could you pronounce your last name for me? Is it Djakpa?
Djakpa.
Djakpa.
Okay, Djakpa.
Djakpa. Yeah. Okay. And so when you speak about your life being in the streets, in your book you speak about Houston and being in Houston and going into different clubs, and that was when you had some type of transformation also, but it's like you came in touch with your gift for reading people. And so how did that factor into your life and you being out in the streets and transforming yourself?
Well, I found out that trauma, usually when women go through some type of trauma, their spirit goes to another level. Some of their spiritual aspects are surface for their protection, or either it'll go to another realm and keep them in a lower vibration of existence. Mine went to another level because I started having the visions and started seeing things. I played with it for fun, but what happened was it got dangerous because things were happening that I didn't understand, and I had no guidance with it. I had no proper guidance. I didn't have a person that was an older, like a wise woman or wise man telling me, okay, this is what's happening to you, until way later in life. And then I didn't trust my first gut. Like all of us as women, we're born with it naturally because women have that extra, we have that extra sense. The feminine energy does. And I never did trust it, so I always stayed in a bad state because, well, why did I do that? Something told me not to do that. You know how we have that first mind? I never did trust my first mind. But as I got older and got tired of that life, it wore me down. It took me, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it was until
don't we get sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Yes, you know when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
You know, so I dropped out of sight for many, many years. I mean, I was so lost for so long that I just needed to just get away from anything that was familiar. I said, you know something? I'm tired. I couldn't do it anymore. So I'm so glad someone else introduced me to a priest who happened to be a priest of the Ephraim faith. And that's when it all started. And he even told me, he said, your ancestors are going to take you on more than one spiritual journey. It's not just going to be one way. You're going to learn many different paths of spirit because your soul is so old. Now, even though I was young, I will be honest with you, because of the trouble I was in at the time, I just went and got, look, get me out of this jam. And how much it's going to cost and what we got to do. I didn't realize that was going to be my healing and my new journey. I didn't realize that at the time until things started to manifest later, where I said, wait a minute. when your life is in the balance, and you're not going to be around for so many days. Somebody tells you, okay, but in this many days you're supposed to die. That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. So I said, something, let me try to get myself. It took a long, long time. It took a long time for me to understand that I am a misfit Amazon, that I'm a very old soul. I had to accept all of that because I didn't want to. I kept trying to appease society. I kept trying to appease everybody else. I kept trying to be this and that I wasn't. When I finally came to accept and love myself, my life began to change.
And Laura, you said two very important things that I want to revisit here. You mentioned you are a very old soul, and you mentioned being a misfit. There's something else too. I'll come to it though. But speak about old souls, because sometimes we see children and we'll say, "Oh, that's an old soul." There's something about their spirit or in their eyes, their behavior. So talk about an old soul for some people who may not be familiar, or they may can recognize an old soul in a person or a child.
When they recognize an old soul child, the way they react and look at a person. Children, they cry. Of course they cry because they can't really speak well. But the old soul child, they will turn their head and focus on that person, and like they're reading them. They're either going to react with a body gesture, or they're going to reach out to the person, or they're just going to sit there and stare. When they normally sit there and stare, that's when you can tell they're an old soul and they've been here before. They can be in all kinds of noise and chaos. When they sit up in that baby chair and just sit there and chill, you can always tell that child has been here before. You can always feel yes. Yes. And even if they're as children, you can always tell just by the way they react to certain things.
Yes, and I've seen children like that, and sometimes I felt like I'm an old soul, just like.
Oh yeah, you're an old soul. You know how I could tell you're an old soul?
How can you tell? Because
you were when you mentioned you were going to yoga and what you started reading, that was your past life pulling you back to something that was a familiar for you to capture back in this lifetime to keep you grounded. You know what I mean?
My past life speaking to me.
And Featherlight, is she there? She's there too?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Featherlight?
Yes.
You're such an old soul. You're such an old soul that you probably go back even farther. I mean, way way past the Middle East. The Asian culture. You know what I mean? Like the
really?
Yeah. Like the Tibetan, the Himalayan. That whole area there.
In just your few minutes of hearing me, you can feel that
because of the passion, because of the passion that comes out. Usually, old souls that can carry your. You have your actors and actresses, but an old soul, when they have a passion that comes out naturally of something of a suffering or time frame, you can always tell the old soul. And you two came together because you probably knew each other in another time.
Yeah,
we've talked about your purpose for that time here.
We have. That's it. I'm hearing a little echo in my voice. Are you ladies hearing that?
Yes, I'm hearing it too. I didn't say anything.
It may be my phone and the location I'm in.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I'm in a hotel room, and I'm in an area off the main highway, so that's probably why the echo is there. So I apologize for that.
Oh, that's okay. We'll make it through. We will certainly make it through. Could you talk about, let's see, it was something I wanted to ask about your third eye awakening. Now, should people, when they are new meditators, should that be something that they immediately start doing, or you have some practice or guidance?
I think each person should find something that's comfortable for them. Now, there's many avenues of study. There's many classes of it. It's all over the place. But in my opinion, I think each person should take the time to find out which part of nature they want to connect with first. Some people like the sea, some like the woods, some like the forest, some like the campfire. Everybody has an avenue of element that connects with them that they like the most. And I think they should take their time and find out which is the most comfortable for them to connect with their inner eye and their spirit. Some people can go to a meditation class and do well and get to higher consciousness and journey and travel, and some people can't. Some people have to go to the sea, which I love. Some go to the woods, which I love. Some people have to do a campfire or sit near a fire pit or just be in the fresh air. But once they connect with that part of nature, it's like turning the key on. Like turning on the engine.
That's why I need to be close to the beach, close to the water, because that's my element, water. Although I'm a quote-unquote fire sign, I love the water. I guess because that water will extinguish some of that fire and eradicate, I guess, maybe the bad energy fire. The balance. There you go. That's it. The balance.
Yes.
The balance. The water and the fire. I love water, and I keep saying this. I am going to move to the beach, an island, somewhere where I can live and be closer to water. That's why I loved living in Florida. And I keep saying I'm moving to Galveston. That's my first island that I'll live on, and then I'll move on from there. But back to so Feather Light is one of those ancient old souls. I can believe that. I really can believe that.
Yes. Feather Light. May I ask a question?
Sure.
Have you ever heard of the Shaolin Temple in China?
No. I may have. SHALOM?
Yeah, and they do the kung fu there.
Yes, she's familiar with him. You know what she loves Bruce Lee, so she's familiar with kung fu and
if you ever get a chance, read the history of the Shaolin Temple. And if we ever cross paths again, let me know what you felt about it.
Oh.
Because, sometimes when we come in different lifetimes, we could have been a male, we could have been a female.
Right, right.
You don't always come back as the same sex. And in different avenues. You know?
Yeah.
And even those who may have been slaves for a short time, male or female in these different past lives. Yeah. And those of us who are ancient souls, it's even more prevalent. It could have been male or female, and that can affect your journey in this lifetime also.
Interesting. Let me share a story. I was introduced to someone via another person, and I tell you, when I was introduced to this person, do you know we talked from the moment of the introduction to about 3 hours? I mean, we talked 3 hours straight, and then the person said, I think we must have known each other in another life, and I think we were, very close, like in a relationship. And this was a female, so it didn't have anything to do with any sexuality, nothing like that. But it was just, as you mentioned, one of us could have been a male, other female, in a past life, and that's just how close that relationship was. It was like we've been knowing each other for years.
Very deep.
Years.
Wow.
Very deep.
Well, I had an experience where I met someone. Actually, they reached out to me when I was on Facebook, and it was more of a spiritual kind of thing. They said, I feel you kind of thing. And it was like, what, feel, instead of hear. And anyway, we started talking. He was sort of my spiritual guide when I was doing learning about Tantra. And so I just up and said we text a lot, and I said, it's good to see you again. And I never met this person ever in this lifetime. But I just said it, and he was very very spiritual. But I think I even caught him off guard with that, and he did a question mark, and I just said, it's just nice to see you again. It just felt like we had known each other before now, and that's the feeling that I had. That's the feeling. It was so comfortable. Yeah.
Well, some people misunderstand when someone says, "Oh, I'm an androgynous spirit." They take that in the physical sense of as a transgender type of a physical thing. But spiritually, as an androgynous person, that means you have the masculine energy and the feminine energy in a balance. Your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like down the bottom of the sea, the seahorse, they carry the eggs. You understand what I mean?
Seahorse, the male,
the seahorse, the male seahorses carry. They carry. Yes, they carry the eggs.
You know,
and there are some people who come into this lifetime.
Animal channels.
Yes. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. There's some plants that have that, and it's misunderstood sometimes. That's not sexual. Just the spirit of some people have like. If a woman could be very, very strong, she's masculine, but she's feminine. Mm-hmm. She has the strength of a man, but yet she's a woman.
Mm-hmm. The strength of a man, but she's still a woman.
Yes.
Still all woman. Talk about this meningina misfits that you speak of in your book. What's the meningina misfits?
You know, meningitis is like it's an illness that children get sometimes. Meningitis, it just takes over everything. You know, when you're a misfit, where you're not wanted. You know there's something that's not going to be for you, and if you fight that part of you, if you fight it, you're not going to win. Just surrendering to that part of you, that's just all of you, is the best thing for your survival. Just like me, I no longer like society. I mean, I don't try to throw stones at anyone. I try to respect everybody's path, but I no longer want to be anywhere where I'm not going to be at peace. I no longer want my energy to be on something that's not going to be for its best purpose or for healing or anything of that nature, because I'm more sacred now with my energy. Like, okay, all three of us are old souls, and this is a sacred part of our journey now, and we know how old our souls are. That's sacred to us. Others may not think of it as anything sacred because they're on a different journey. But as I get older now, it's more sacred to me.
So, again, it seems like finding the balance within yourself versus, would you say, just some people try to exercise those demons or bad habits or bad spirits within. Yeah. So are you saying just work through that and find the balance, or should you exercise those demons out?
I think that if something is harmful to you and you know the energy is not healthy for you, the person themselves could just take the time and do a little investigation in a way they could try to find out how they could work it out. Some people, when they come into this journey and they could be innocent, something comes with them. Okay, let me have an example. If someone is fighting a dark force, just that energy, a demonic force or whatever, and they've never had nothing to do with anything spiritual. They could be living an innocent life, could be not whatever, just going on their daily. That, in my belief, that came from that was something happened in a past life, for that to surface in this lifetime, and it had not been investigated or even know why that it surfaced. But it was their challenge in this life to deal with it.
Okay.
They have to find out what way they want to go about dealing with it. And when it comes down to personal and bad habits, it took me a long time. I had habits that I needed to work on by myself. Not a psychiatrist, not a doctor. I had to work on alone. And it took me a while to realize that I was my own worst enemy for many, many years. It was me. I couldn't blame my family. I couldn't blame this one. I couldn't blame that one. It was me. Because I did not love myself enough. I did not keep myself sacred enough. I did not honor myself enough. Yes. And when I began to do that, my life began to change.
I can believe it, because I had to experience that. I experienced that as well. I had all of this confidence. I had all the confidence in the world, I thought. But I still was not honoring myself in the way that I should honor myself. And as you mentioned, I had to go through some inner work with that. I had to work through all of that myself. It took some time of just learning to re-love myself and spend time with myself, get my thoughts together, and not have anybody else in my life while I still had what I used to call all this mess going on that I definitely would have to sort out before I tried to connect with someone else, because I didn't want to connect them to all of that mess.
Yeah.
So,
right. And you have to want it. You have to want it. You have to want to fix it. Yeah. Some people don't. Some people love all that mess. Some people are happy in mess. Some people love misery. They're happy there. And anybody else that's happy, they don't want nothing to do with it. Why are you so happy? Oh, I can't stand you. Put your smile on. You know the story. Wore the T-shirt, got the medal.
Right. Just let it go. Let it go, people. Listen, before we go to break, I would love for you to speak about remote viewings, because when I first became familiar with remote viewings, it was through a documentary about the CIA using remote viewing for warfare. So talk about remote viewings and how do you incorporate that in your spiritual practice?
Sure. Okay. Now or after the break, or?
Well, let's go into it now before the break, and we can pick back up after the break.
Okay, sure.
We'll take a break in about 5 minutes.
It's very interesting. I do it on a small level. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Montenegro, who worked in the CIA, and he teaches a course at the Munro Institute. It's a whole nother planet. It's so deep that I don't look at the world the same. I'm going to hopefully next year go back more into it. I do it on a very small level, and there's an officer in Connecticut who is good at it, who I work with a little bit every now and then. But it's so deep and it's more scientific that people that study that, your subconscious mind has to be clean. You can't have a lot of stuff in your subconscious mind to go into it. It's that deep. I work with it on a small level, but if somebody were to study that, your life needs to change, seriously change, because that's a whole nother animal, and it's fascinating. Now, I'm not the best one out there with it, and even though I do it at a small scale, but there are people who can go into that and find where a nuclear bomb is placed, or find where a body was buried and how long it's been there, or locate a weapon in another country and where it's moving to. I mean, that's how deep some of the people I've met on that. It's very, very heavy.
So now, would you explain remote viewing as like being able to transport yourself to another place in the world and being able to do whatever it...
Well, what they do is they give you like a letter or a number, and they call it like a target. Like they say, okay, here's 313. Tell us what 313 is. 313 could be a teddy bear in a store. Or they'll say, what's 311? 311 could be a car parked in a lot, and where is it located? That's how deep it is. You have to find it. Sometimes they have these levels of describing the item and describing what the item is. It could be a tomato. They say, no, it was a car. So when you go into a class, it's deep, and that's why next year, hopefully, I want to go back into it more deeper, because I took an intensive for a week. Do you know, when I came home, I had to come back to this planet in the physical sense, because your mind goes into more scientific thought. And there are people who are excellent at it. I mean, Mr. Montenegro and his wife, or I think they have a great program up at the Munro Institute, and it's deep. It's so deep. And me being spiritual on another sense, remote viewing is like the other half of the brain, where it needs to be totally focused and balanced to go into that realm to find that particular item. And you have to have your mind has to be in a different place because you can't have a lot of mess inside your brain to go into that area. That's how scientific it is. And it's not for everybody. It is not for everybody. And I'm glad I just do it on a small, I call it a big scale, you know, on a small scale. But there are people who are phenomenal at it. Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. So are people able to learn this, or is this like a gift that someone may already have and it's developed?
Well, some people go to courses and take it. I think, to me, that's the best thing they should do, and I think they should do research to find the best that does it. There's courses all over the place, everywhere. But when you meet someone like Mr. Montenegro, who worked actually and did the work for the CIA, you're talking about fascinating. You will never look at life and the world the same after you experience someone who has been that deep as a remote viewer. There's things going on in this world that people could make their hair stand up. Because
let me ask
saving the world. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm one of those folks that I see everything. When I look at something, I see everything in detail, and that's how I speak, and that's how I understand. So, so you are like say for instance, you're in Florida right now. So, what you're saying is you're in Florida right now, sitting at a table, but your mind goes all the way to, say, for instance, Alaska, and it sees something that's in Alaska, and it can see the color and where it is.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Ma'am. Same concept, but just a little different. Is that they give you a code, like a target. They'll say to you, okay, T3. What is T3?
Okay.
You sit at your table or sit in your space, whatever works, and you find out what T3 is.
Okay.
It could be in Alaska.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, that is deep. That is deep.
Very.
That's very deep.
Very.
For podcasts and live program scheduling, visit us on the web at blacktalkradionetwork.com.
All right, and we're back here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. You can always join in the call, join in the conversation. 866-510-9025 is the number, and that's 866-510-9025. And we have with us tonight spiritual counselor, African spiritual priestess Laura Djakpa, and we were talking about remote viewing and breeding and past life, overcoming all this mess that you may have, and guilt and shame. We go through so much, and in your book you speak about the misfit and the Amazon woman. And one thing that I always think about is how, especially with black women, we seem to go through so much. As Malcolm X said, the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. And we, I think, have this attitude, well, we've had this I guess this existence of being the strong woman and always having to make it through these things and never break down. You bring home the bacon fried up in a pan. You do all things. You're just so powerful, and you hold the family together, and you're the best worker, and you're on time, and you go the extra mile. And we're not allowed to actually be comforted or soothed or sometimes just say, oh, I can't do that. I'm having a bad day. How many of us can pick up the phone and call your friend and say you're having a bad day? So many people, I believe, try to hold it in, unless it may be something about a relationship or something like that. You know, we can call our friend, our girlfriend, about a relationship problem. But what about like a real life problem, like bipolar, or being bipolar or something? When people have certain illnesses or real problems, and we hold that in. And so I like the way in your book you talk about overcoming that. So can you share some ways that Black women and women, period, can work through some of this and have that transformation as you've experienced? I know that was a lot to say. Oh, Laura, I'm so sorry. Let's unmute you.
Hi,
Laura, hey. Okay. So could you share some ways that people can have that breakthrough, like Mary J. Blige wrote about?
Well, remember, we're now standing in our truth like we never have before. In the past 20 years, all this stuff about going to psychiatrists and bipolar stuff is finally starting to surface, things that we never known before, things we never even heard of before. And remember, in our subconscious mind, we're carrying 300 years of stuff in our subconscious mind. Now, yeah, we have all the good stuff, and we have all the bad and all the stuff, but we have not healed from what has happened. Now, anytime we make the attempt to heal, we got drama from the outside, or who you think you are, and what you're trying to be, and when you are able to walk away from that and let go of all that and walk alone in your truth and be at peace with it, that's when things start to shed. When you can cry by yourself and say, let me get this tear out. Why is this person calling me? They don't understand. When you're able to say, you know something, I love you, my dear, but can we talk in a few more months because I'm going through something? Tell them that truth because, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Well, they'll hurt your feelings. There's always a but. There's always a snicketing. Oh, yeah, well, you're sick any damn well. Well, you need some medication. Oh, this and this and that. Because they don't know the pain.
Right.
But when you're able to tell them, I'm going to change in my life. I told one person, I'm going through menopause. Don't take your personal side. I'm having a hot flash. Yeah, I'm not. Catch up with you. But when you start going to a psychiatrist and getting on medication and trying to get some type of help from whatever hell you caught through your life, all of a sudden there's a switch up.
All of a sudden, what?
Go ahead. You get a switch up with people. So, to me, go ahead and get whatever help you can. And if you could, at least once in your life, take a trip somewhere. If you can afford, it doesn't have to be nothing expensive or fancy. If you can go somewhere outside of the box, to a mountain or rent a cabin or do something you've never done before by yourself for even just a week, that will help you decide on your next level of healing because you start to connect with the source of nature. It will show you something. It will show you a fish, a dog, a cat, a bird. Something will make its presence known that you're on the right journey, but you're going to have to step out of the norm to do it without fear.
Step out of the norm.
You got to step out of the norm.
Do something different.
You have to. By yourself.
By yourself. I believe in that. I believe in that.
No friends, no family. Healing. By yourself.
Let's talk about, it gets very deep because you have that time to yourself, by yourself, and you can listen and you can hear. Take the time to hear. That's why I love to go sit on the beach in the water, and I let the waves, I let the ocean, I let the water speak to me, and I connect with it, and it's just beautiful.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful.
And it's
absolutely beautiful.
It's also good for people who are normally people pleasers. When you're around other people, you tend to want to help other people. You see other people in need, and it sort of makes you feel like, okay, you're helping them, so that's going to make me feel better. But if you're by yourself, you help yourself, you heal yourself.
Yes.
Concentration is within, and it's not going without.
Yes. Miss Black Rose, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever done a deep sea dive with a diving team?
I have not.
If you get a chance, there's a monument off of Key West called for the Henrietta slave ship that went down. The Black Diving Association put it down there a few years ago, and you should close to the water and to the ocean. If you get a chance, I don't know if they're still around, but maybe take a course and have them take you down to see the monument down to the bottom of the sea and do that little walk and that connect down there.
I would love that.
Well, it's the Henrietta. It's a monument for that ship that went down there, and the Black Divers Association put it down there at the bottom. And
I'm familiar with that.
100 miles off. Go ahead.
I'm familiar with that. I actually have one of the guys' books, one of the divers. I have his book, and so I would love to have that experience. Yes, I would. I know that I would be able to connect.
Yeah.
Goodness. Yes, I would love that.
Awesome.
I want to hear you talk a little bit about tarot cards, because some people may feel a certain way about tarot cards, tarot readings, or readings, period, because I know I've been around older women or people that say, oh, no, you shouldn't do that, or no, you shouldn't prophesize, or you shouldn't use cards.
Well, remember, they don't know any better. They don't. I mean, I'm not mad at them. I understand. You know, if you've been brought up a certain way and been programmed your whole life for that one particular thought process, of course it's a no-no. You know what I mean? To me, there's nothing wrong with having an oracle. I mean, some people have a Bible as their oracle. Some people have a Torah as their oracle, or a Quran as their oracle, or the Book of Buddha as their oracle. You know, or playing cards, or a glass of water, or a teacup, or tea leaf. I mean, you do what works.
Right.
If you're not out to harm anybody, that's fine. You know. I mean, everybody's different, and to me, I think I love tarots. I think they're fascinating. I mean, even Mary Lincoln had it, even though she had him in the White House, knowing that her husband was going to pass on his second term, you know, in the White House. To me, I think they're fascinating, and every culture has them. You know, any type of oracle that will help you get some questions and look a little bit deeper, go for it. You know, to me, I'm not going to tell nobody, no, you shouldn't do that. Now, if something's going to cause you harm and you're not comfortable with it, well, don't do it. But if you want to go deeper into a matter and ask some questions for yourself, fine, go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I recently purchased a deck of tarot cards, like maybe about a year ago. So I've been learning. And I too believe that oracles and using tarot cards, the bones, whatever you use, based on your culture, that's fine. And over here in America, in the Western society, we've just been accustomed to religion as a spirituality. But I think that, I know that other cultures, other people, they have adopted all types of different methods of spirituality and what they use and what they believe in. So, again, it goes back to me respecting your belief in your culture.
Sure.
I don't have to agree with it, but it is what it is. And that's your life. Talk about home and aura cleansing for us, please. And why is that important?
I think that your space that you live in should be the most peaceful, calmest place. Like, it should be your temple. Whether it's a shack, whether it's a tent, whether it's a little hole in the wall somewhere in the woods, it should be your sacred place. I think if you're going to move into some place brand new or a new location, I think you should find a method. Now, some people use sage, some people use salt, some people use different things. But me, I like bells. I like using loud bells and mixing and making your own brand of incense. Doesn't have to be sage, whatever you like, but something different with the charcoal, and get those bells going and cleaning every room and corner of the house, opening it up and bringing whatever your prayer is, whatever your chant, or whatever your mantra is into that space before you move in there. Because people get, you know.
Did you say bells, like jingle
bells?
Bells?
You know those Casca bells. You know, they call them jingle bells. I like those bells, or either Tibetan bells, anything that's loud, that's very distinctive. Because as you open the door and open the windows, open up every door, the cabinet, the drawers, everything in that sacred space that you'll be living in. As you present your spirit and self inside the door, whatever mantra, whatever prayer, whatever chant you may have that works for you, to open that realm up in that house so it could welcome your spirit in there, so nothing that's unfamiliar to you or does no longer serve as purpose in that space can go.
Powerful prayer. Once again, more power. I love power. Power.
Yes.
Power,
whatever that works. Yes. And once you make that presence known, so it can ease on its way or disperse into the directions of the four winds.
Now I have adopted the practice of smudging and applying the frankincense above the doors, and I forgot about the bells, but I recall reading about bells, having bells at your doorway, or like a red bow. And now I was unfamiliar with the jingling of the bells throughout the house, but I have heard of clapping to clap out any bad spirits, like in the rooms of your home. So you just walk through and clap. That's old school. See that?
That's old school.
Yeah.
That's old school. And you know what? That's great. That's fantastic, yes. Oh, yes. And some people use wood. Some people find different pieces of trees, a cypress tree or a weeping willow, pieces of different bark to put in the houses also.
Different bark. Okay.
Yeah, different types of bark. Oh, my goodness. And it's a wonderful, wonderful study depending on the culture they come from, certain sticks by the door or the chains by the door, If it's something that you see a different change in the energy source, if the energy changes to a higher vibration where it's more calmer and you can lay your head in peace, hey, you're good to go.
You're good to go.
Music. Drums.
I think it's also a good idea that when you have a group of people over to your home to do this again, or if you have maintenance men coming in and out of your home, because they are bringing in energy that is not yours, and it may not be healthy. Here's a mantra that an example of a mantra that I wanted to share to give some of our listeners an idea. Cleanse this space of negative energy, thoughts, and intentions. If there are energies here not of the light, you are not welcome. Be gone and do not return. Surround this space and everyone in it with positive energy and white light. It's just an example.
That's beautiful. If you get a chance when somebody leaves your home, if you get a chance, if you had a function at your house, and if they all go out of one particular door, take some cold bucket ice water with big ice chunks in it, and drop it in front of the front door, and it will clean that front door entrance right away. Boom.
Okay, so
after you have a party or a gathering, ice, big chunks of ice, and you raise it up to the sky and turn it upside down on the porch. It will disperse any energy that's no longer be there.
Ah, okay.
Right away.
I'll go back and remember this. Oh my goodness, we could go on and on with these old tales, because I've also heard of the sprinkling the salt. Now in front of my door. Well, let me go back to the sprinkling the salt, because that'll be difficult for evil spirit to come in. And then also above my door, I have a bag of peppers and garlic at the door. So I always say to myself, right? I always say to myself, even if it does not have the power that it's supposed to have, which I know it does because I create the power in it. The power is there.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly. But it'll still be kind of weird to some people. You remember when we were children and the ladies, we used to call them voodoo ladies in the neighborhood.
Yes.
But we never messed with her, the root lady.
She Rudy Rudy now.
Right. She'll kill you. to eat you, to have you in a pot. So
she took me
nobody
so
ever
man.
harmed
She
her.
broke up so man, honey child. Yeah, and the pastor knew about it. Yeah.
When you run past the house, you didn't slowly walk past. You ran past the house.
We were afraid. There was a rude lady in our neighborhood. Oh my God! And remember, look, we're from Memphis, and we used to have an area called Voodoo Village, and there were all kinds of old tales about it. Oh, they'll eat you. Oh, they'll do this. They'll do that. But,
they sacrificed you to the dogs.
Oh yeah, they had the skeletons outside and all that. But it was just all a hoax to keep black people from connecting with that group of people, that group of Africans that were that were living in that particular neighborhood. And I mean, they had all kind of stories like, oh, when you go to a certain point on one of those streets, your car would cut off, so don't go down that far. I mean, all of these, what do you call them, urban legends, and So anyway, I just thought about that.
Well, you know what's beautiful about the legends? What's beautiful about anything that's indigenous, anything around the world that's indigenous? Our indigenous catches more hell because it's black. Remember, Hollywood did a lot of the zombies, and they go to the island, they're going to kill you. This is about 10,000 years. But yet you go to South America, well, my indigenous is better than yours because we're white. They spit in the rum? Yeah, they got some plans there. Oh, really? So, it's interesting how our indigenous has been around for 10,000 years. Same thing in Australia and everywhere else, but yet they have the nerve to throw stones at that and be self-righteous and judgmental about that. But yet here I am a slave, and I would do anything to stop this man from beating me and raping me and selling my children. I don't care if it's a piece of rock and a piece of mud above that door. I will do whatever I can to stop this person from taking my spirit.
Right.
You cannot have my spirit.
And because we have been through so much trauma, our subconscious mind is carrying all this stuff. So we've been reprogrammed for so long. We've lost the essence of our power. It took one culture to take down a continent. The Portuguese came and took a continent. Boom! Then the Spanish and the French and the Dutch followed. So we are still out there in the desert. We need to come in and go to the forest and the trees and come on home.
And come home. Go back to nature. Come home. Go back to yourself. Come back to yourself. Laura, we're going to have you back to have more of this discussion.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
peace
there's
and
so
love
much
to
we would
you,
love
wonderful
to hear
soul.
about.
It feels great to meet some old souls, and that's there. And I'm sending blessings and light and power of the Sister Moon, the Earth Mother, and the four directions into your sacred space. Thank you so much.
Namaste to you.
Namaste to you. Ashe, Alafia, everything.
All of that. All of that. And we're sending strength and prayers to you when you return home. We already know that all is well. You will be well. Yes. You are well. Rather, you are well. We're speaking in the present.
Food and shelter is all we need. Food and shelter is all we need.
Right. Yes.
Okay, have a good night. Thank you so much.
We want to talk more about your books, okay? When you come back, we want to talk more about your book and more about your services. How can people follow you before you leave? How can they follow you and keep up with what you're doing?
Well, I'm not much into the social media thing, but I have my website. I used to post all kinds of stuff years ago and stuff. I changed my method of things. They can just send me an email if they want, and that's fine. I'm mostly very private because some of the people that I deal with from different cultures and backgrounds, I respect their privacy and the path that they're on. But they can just send me an email, at LauraDjakpa@gmail.com.
Okay. Spell your name.
All right, say that again for us.
LauraDjakpa@gmail.com.
And that's spelled Laura and DJAKPA.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Oh, I wanted to say before you go, we were talking about spiritual practices and rituals and our culture. And there's a movie, I'm sure you've seen it, and I know you've heard of it, Daughters of the Dust. There was a lot of that going on in that movie, a lot of spiritual practices.
I haven't seen that one. What's the name of the movie?
Oh, Daughters of the Dust.
The Daughters of the Dust?
Yes.
Yes.
the
Oh,
last.
the lady in the. Yes, I did see it. I did see it. It was wonderful.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful.
And they were doing hand movements and putting a glass of water next to the bed and before you
Yes.
go to bed at night,
Also.
all kinds of practices. Yes. Yeah, I thought
Beautiful.
about
How
that as
about
you guys
Eve's
were
Bayou?
talking
Did you
about
like
it.
Eve's Bayou?
Oh yeah, oh
Eve's
yeah.
Bayou.
Oh yeah, I got to see
My
that
goodness.
too.
Yes.
Yes. That's a
Sometimes I
good
like to
one.
go
That's a
back
good
and
one
watch
too.
movies with a different mindset, different
Oh
perspective
Yes,
yeah.
I need
years
to watch
later.
that with a different mindset. Yeah.
Oh yes.
With my
All
growth.
right.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I
Definitely.
love that. So,
Yes.
but Daughters of the Dust is a fabulous film. That's definitely one to
Yes,
watch, and
it's
I
way
should
ahead of
watch
its
that
time.
again.
Way ahead of its time.
Way
I
ahead.
love the
And it
ending
is
when they're
on
on the beach
Netflix
with the
now.
senior lady. That's
Oh,
Oh
beautiful.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that was
yes.
powerful.
That's beautiful. And it's on Netflix now. You can stream Daughters of the Dust on Netflix.
Yes.
Yes.
So check it out. Yes. So thank you, Laura, and we'll be in
Thank
touch
you.
with
I
you.
love you, ladies,
Stay
and peace and love. Take
Love you
care. Don't
too.
be strangers.
Love.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.
Peace and love.
Namaste.
Peace, love, and light to Laura Djakpa. Really enjoyed her. She offers her services, as she mentioned, spiritual counseling. She can also, what is this? The tarot readings, aura cleansing, home aura cleansing. She works with gemstones. Gemstones are very powerful. I'm so delighted to see more people becoming familiar with gemstones, because gemstones are so powerful. You can just keep them and carry them with you, place them in your home for protection, wealth, focus, all sorts of ways that we can utilize these gemstones that are here on the earth for us to use. So spread the light. Let me see. Naturally. I have a quote, and I think you have a quote also. Before we go to our African spirit breaking, we'll take a break and then African spirit. Let me see. Let's see. Where is my quote? Let me go to my quote. Today is the day. Let me say this first. I don't think I mentioned this earlier. Today is the day that we lost Tupac Shakur, and as everybody knows, Tupac Shakur, we consider him a lyrical angel. One of our mind, body, and spirit lyrical angels, Tupac Amaru Shakur. He was known by his name Tupac Machiavelli Pac. He sold over 75 million records worldwide. He was born June 16th, 1971 in East Harlem, New York City, and he died September 13th, 1996. And I'll just tell my story, what I was doing 21 years ago when we found out, when it was announced over the radio, because we didn't have the social media and the phones and all of that. It was announced on the radio that Tupac died. And he had been holding on, 6 days he had been holding on. And when that was announced, honey, I was in the nail shop. I remember this just like people remember what they were doing when 9/11 took place and JFK died and Martin Luther King was assassinated, when they were both assassinated. But I was in the nail shop, and it was announced that Tupac transitioned. I mean, we broke down in that nail shop. Oh, my gosh, like they told us all of our grandmothers had just died, because we loved Tupac. I mean, we were like distraught. I think I may have walked out and didn't get my nails done, but I know a lot of girls did get up and walk out. I mean, people just walked out and just hit the ground. So it was just horrible. Tupac Shakur. I want to just, before we go into our quotes, let me just share this quote on Tupac, and I want to briefly mention this New Hampshire case. Let me see. Where's my Tupac quote? Where is this? I think I may know it, though, by heart. Let me find my quote. Where is my Tupac quote? Give me 1 second. I'll get to it. I hope I can get to it. Well, Further Light, do you have your quote?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Whenever a population is misled to believe that their core problem is themselves. Let me start that all over again. This is very important. Whenever a population is misled to believe that their core problem is themselves. This turns their collective frustration, or energy, because frustration is energy, away from their oppressor and against each other. They become self-hating, self-doubting, and are therefore easier to divide, exploit, and ultimately easier to control. It is a well-proven psychological warfare system that works. It does. It is actually working. If I hear another person say, I wish we needed to stop killing each other, I just want to, I'm usually a mild-mannered person, I just want to just walk up to him and just do a little baby shake. Stop saying that. Because you kill where you live. Whites kill where they live. Asians kill where it's where you live. This is an idea that has been placed in our minds so that we can feel like we are the problem, and if we just stop killing each other, everything will be okay. So
everything will be okay. Thank you for sharing that, and that's so true, because when people say that, but they complain about we should stop killing each other, but you pay money to see films that have killing from beginning to end. So anyway, and that's what is promoted, war. So I'll share this quote by Tupac. Reality is wrong. Dreams are for real. Reality is wrong. Dreams are for real. Tupac Amaru Shakur.
Fine. That's deep. And I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. Love that. Well, that's Tupac. Reality is wrong. Dreams are for real. And right now, for real, we'll take a break. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. You're tuned into the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show.
Black Talk Media Project launched the digital radio platform Black Talk Radio Network, the first such platform created to serve the black community specifically. Black Talk Radio Network has grown with a variety of radio hosts, digital radio stations, and podcasters. Web analytics say Black Talk Radio, the platform, has an online reach that ranks it among the top independent black media platforms in the world. All of this is possible because of financial contributions to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. If you love the work we do and the voices and perspectives we bring to you every day, make a donation today to ensure that Black Talk Radio is here in the future. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Yes. Tonight we are honoring Queen Mother Moore for our African Spirit segment. Queen Mother Moore was a die-hard civil rights activist and a black nationalist who stood side by side with Jamaican-born scholar and Pan-Africanist leader, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, supporting his Back to Africa movement. She was a hero to countless folks in her beloved Harlem community. She fought for tenant rights, more solid education for its residents, and she was named Queen Mother Moore by the Ashanti tribe in Ghana, and they gave her the honorary title on one of her many trips to the motherland, Queen Mother Moore. She had a powerful voice that she used for speaking against the injustices that black people suffered at the hands of this country that had literally turned its back on them. Now, Queen Mother Moore was a powerful, strong fighter for, advocate for reparations as well. She was once quoted as saying, "They not only call us Negroes, they made us Negroes. Things that don't know where they came from and don't even care that they don't know. Negro is a state of mind, and they massacred our minds." She was born July 27th, 1898, in New Iberia, Louisiana. You know, Louisiana has that black power history. So Queen Mother Moore came from New Iberia, Louisiana, and from what I read about her, when she heard about Marcus Garvey, she just packed up her bags and moved to New York so that she could follow the Honorable Marcus Garvey, become a part of the UNIA. So her grandmother was a slave whose mother was raped by her enslaver, who happened to be a physician. Her grandfather was lynched as his wife watched. Oh, my goodness. So she was forced to enter the workforce after her parents died. It was around the age of 15 that she made the decision to jump into the struggle that she saw going on around her. Her decision turned into a lifelong search for answers about how to change things. So she found her purpose. And that's what we have to do, find our purpose. And through living your life, and when you meditate and you ask for that purpose, ask for that guidance, it'll come. The answers will come. So she became a follower of Garveyism. So Queen Mother Moore was a Garveyite. She left Louisiana around the 1920s, and she arrived in Harlem, where she immediately submerged herself into the struggle. She ran as a communist for New York State Assembly in 1938. She helped to organize a campaign demanding that blacks receive reparations for the travesties that they suffered in this country, all the way back to the days of enslavement. She teamed up with Malcolm X, joined his organization of Afro-American Unity, and she is a founding member of the Commission to Eliminate Racism, Council of the Churches of Greater New York. That's Queen Mother Moore. Oh, one more factoid to share about Queen Mother Moore. Queen Mother Moore led protests against the Apollo Theater for showing racist shows. And she forced the Work Progress Administration to employ black women on sewing projects who were previously relegated to domestic work. She also fought to break Jim Crow policy in the Coast Guard and became the first black stewardess to be hired. Magnificent.
Wow. Amazing. Now, what did you say about the Apollo Theater? What influence did she have on the Apollo Theater?
She led a protest against the Apollo Theater for showing racist shows. So I'll have to look into the history, though, of the Apollo Theater showing racist shows, what types of racist shows. That would be a great study. I have to remember to write that down.
That's pretty interesting. Okay. That's very valuable information. Thank you for that. That's an eye-opener.
Queen Mother Moore.
She made a lot of differences. She made some strides. She found her.
We honor her. She found her purpose. Before we go into your Love the Body, Feather Light, let me just briefly touch on this story in New Hampshire with this young boy.
Please do.
Okay. Yeah, they lynched black people in New Hampshire, right, all the way up there, which is about 96% white. And so this is a young boy that's quote-unquote biracial. And people probably have heard this story. If you have not, you can Google it. We're just going to touch on it briefly, brief synopsis of the story. But there are some points that I do want to touch on in this. So in New Hampshire, state authorities are investigating a possible hate crime after the family reported that their 8-year-old boy was pushed by teenagers off a picnic table, an outdoor table, with a rope around his neck, injuring him. So this attack occurred August 28th in Claremont. So Cassandra Merlin, this is the child's mother, said, "It truly saddens me that even in a city so small, racism exists." The boy's grandmother, Lori Slattery, told Valley News, a New Hampshire newspaper, that he and others were playing in the yard in their neighborhood when teenagers who were white started calling the boy racial epithets and throwing sticks and rocks at his legs. The boy's mother said in an interview that that one attacker used rope that had been part of a tire swing. The older boys had put the ropes, this is what the mother's saying, the older boys had put the ropes around their necks, and then they told her son it was his turn. She said her son got up on the table, put the rope around his neck, and the other kid came up from behind him and pushed him off the picnic table, and they walked away and left him hanging. The boy's sister screamed for help and described her brother kicking his feet, grabbing at his neck, and turning purple before dropping to the ground. So the Claremont Police Chief, Mark T. Chase, wants to protect the boys. He wants them protected by confidentiality laws. But we know that if these were some black boys, they did this to another black boy, or in particularly if this happened to a white boy, a young white, an 8-year-old white boy, those 14-year-olds, those teenagers will be charged as adults.
Exactly.
I have
and
no
hate
doubt.
crime
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Oh,
because anytime
their life
you want to try to, yes, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, these were all seen as big burly men. I'm so frightened. Michael Bennett, you were so frightened by him that you had to slam him on the ground. This is a working man, plays for the NFL, sport that you love. So anyway, if you have not heard about this case, definitely Google this. I did see a brief news clip come through my news feed, so there has been an update, I believe, with this case. I'll check it out. I know that people were coming together and protesting, holding hands and all of that. But you know your town racist. You knew that little town was racist to begin with. And what they should be doing is investigating those parents, the parents of those children, because what are you teaching those children? Why do they want to go and hang somebody and try to lynch somebody? Where did they get that notion from, that idea for murder?
Right. They don't come here with that thought. They don't come here with that thought. It's environment.
How are you raising a sociopath or a psychopath? That child needs to be removed. All those children need to be removed because you have a sociopath or a psychopath on your hands. I mean,
they calmly walk away from somebody that's swinging with the rope around the neck.
Children are deemed sociopaths or psychopaths and ones to be monitored if they harm an animal. That's the first sign. Exactly, that's the first sign. So you mean to tell me if they did this torture a human being, you want them to be protected? So, okay. Let me calm down. So, Featherlight, let me give out our donation link, and then let's go into our mind, body, and spirit. I'm glad we're going into love, the body, and breathing. But for those donations, you can always go to www.youcaring.com/Hurricane Harvey victims-938012. And we will post it on our page, and also follow us on Twitter at the Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show. Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show. And we will tweet that out as well as Laura's web page. I should tweet that out now. All right. So, are we ready for Love the Body? Because I love to love my body.
Good. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Black Rose, are you aware that you have magic at your fingertips?
Yes.
Good. Some of us are not. So tonight we are going to do sort of an interactive Love the Body as we talk a little bit more about the mudras and how to use them. So mudras are positions of the body that influence the energies in our body or our mood. Mostly the mudras are done with the hands and fingers held in a certain position for a certain length of time, touching lightly certain fingertips. And this influences the flow of energy in our body. Okay? Think of the acupunctures that are done by some of the Asian communities. Certain needles, I believe a little medicine or something is put on them. I'm not sure. I don't do it. But it's placed in certain parts of our bodies, and the parts of our bodies that the needles are placed in are different channels of energy. And the different channels of energy affect different parts of our body, whether it's physically or our mood or what have you, because they can do acupuncture for those people who are trying to stop smoking, acupuncture for those who want to lose weight, and go on and so on and so forth. So the mudras also affect certain parts or certain energy channels if you hold certain fingers together. So the 5 fingers represent the 5 elements. The thumb represents fire. The index finger represents wind or air. The middle finger represents space. And the ring finger represents earth. The little finger, the pinky, water. So, space, middle finger, ether or space, that is the nostril connection to the brain. It's very, very important. That's why, and there's nothing there. You have two nostrils, and so one connects to one side of the brain and one connects to the other side of the brain. That's why when people who do heavy drugs, they will snort it because it goes straight to the brain. So that is an element, actually. So imbalance of any of these elements on Earth can cause natural disasters. So imbalance of any of these areas within inside of our bodies can also cause disease or other elements. So in using a mudra, by the way, when we put our hands together, palms facing each other and all fingers pointing up and the thumbs touching each other in the prayer mode, that's a mudra. That is a mudra. It is called the Anjali, A-N-J-A-L-I, mudra. Like when you do namaste, that's the Anjali mudra. You're putting your hands together for a purpose. They're not beside your body. They're in the Anjali mudra. Okay, so to do a mudra and for it to be effective, you should use both hands for at least 2 or 3 minutes, but more effective for at least 5. If you don't have 5 minutes to do a mudra, then you can do them in multiple sessions throughout the day. So you hold the fingers, like I said. If you're doing a mudra, you will do the right hand and the left hand, and you will do them at the same time. So this is called the prana mudra, or the mudra of life. So in this mudra, I want everyone, if you can, just put your tic-tacking down for a minute off the computer and get your fingers together so that we can do this mudra. All right. So the tips of the thumb, the ring finger, okay, got that. Touch your ring finger with your thumb, okay, and the little finger. Takes a little bit of effort. They're touching each other. Now, the other fingers are straight, acting like antennas. They're not bent over. They're straight, because we're dealing with energy. Now, this, as I talk, hold this position. It awakens the dormant power of energy, of your energy. It is beneficial for diseases of the eye. It improves eyesight. I really need to do this. Raises your body resistance to disease. It reduces deficiency of vitamins. And it removes tiredness. That's a good one. Now, I have a lot of energy, so I don't get tired too often. But the eye thing, good. Doing fasting, it reduces your hunger pains, and thirst. In insomnia, doing this hand posture, this mudra, it helps in bringing on sleep. Now, the Gaian mudra, the one that you see mostly when people are doing yoga with the thumb touching the index finger, that's Gaian mudra. That sort of calms you and relaxes you because you're going into meditation. You want to clear your mind, like the Djakpa was saying, clear your mind so that you're better able to receive the gifts that you're supposed to receive. So, in this mudra, let's go back to your mudras. Thumb, ring finger, pinky, other finger straight up. Press the pad of the thumb finger onto the nail of the pinky finger, okay? Put it onto the nail of the pinky finger for about a minute. We won't do it a minute, but I just want to show you how it's done. And so when we press the pad of the thumb onto the nail of the pinky finger, it's called locking the mercury finger. The pinky finger is called the mercury finger. So by doing this, you develop inner strength to communicate anywhere with anyone under any circumstances. Oh, wow, I really need to do that. I have trouble communicating, in case you guys didn't know. So just press your little finger for about a minute, all right? I'm going to put this on our Facebook page because these are very explicit directions. So that's a
also add it to the BTR page. Also add it to our BTR page.
It is going on the BTR page first, okay? For those of you who are members, you will see it first. In fact, I already have one up there. I'm demonstrating a mudra for weight loss. And Black Rose, you want to tell them about that mudra? How you like it and then, what you feel about it?
It's the weight loss mudra. I can't describe it. Let's see. It's with the thumb, the middle finger, and the index finger. So the thumb, your index finger, and your ring finger lightly touching, and you hold that mudra for only 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. But can you practice it multiple times throughout the day, or only once a day?
Oh, yes.
So multiple times.
Multiple times. The more you do it, the more effective it will be. But I was really speaking of the first one that you did, where you clasp both of your hands together and you have your left hand in your energy center down below your navel, and it produces a lot of heat. Yes. And it produces a lot of heat, and you can only do this a minimum of 7 minutes. This one is on the BTR page already. So check that out. And you could feel that heat. You could feel that heat.
So you certainly can. You can feel the energy and the heat. And I've shared it with another friend, and she's noticing I feel like leaner and longer since I've been practicing that mudra.
Yeah.
And I would like to feel leaner and longer and taller. So anyway, thank you for sharing that one, that mudra.
Yes,
it's quite effective.
You are. Effective. Yeah, I thought you would like that one, and it's not hard to do, and it's a good way. Some people may say, "Well, you got to hold it 5 minutes." Oh, God, when we're down. Well, that's a good way to meditate. While you're meditating, do a mudra. You're going to be sitting still anyway. Or I meditate in the park. I'm walking out there with my trees, so I could do it, while I'm out there in nature. Some of them say sit, and you sit if it says sit, but some of them you can do while you're standing in line at the grocery store. It's a mudra set for balancing the energy in your body. So this is very simple. You touch each one of your fingers with your thumb at the same time in a sequence, starting with your index finger. So let's do this one. Take your thumb and touch it with your index finger. Keep the other 3 fingers straight out. Remember, like an antenna, because it's energy everywhere. Okay? Now, touch it with your middle finger. Keep the other finger straight.
Is this part of our breathing?
No, this is love the body.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought we were going into breathing with this mudra.
Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. So then this is for balancing the body. Then touch it with your thumb, your ring finger, and then finally your pinky finger. Okay. So this one I just wanted to share with everybody because you can do this anywhere. You don't have to sit. You don't have to be standing still. You can be standing in the grocery store with your hands in your pocket. And so this is actually balancing your energy. Okay, so now we're going into R&R, relax and release. Relax and release. Okay. And so take a deep breath. Your stomach balloons outward when you take a deep breath. And put your hands on your stomach to make sure you're doing it properly. And then when you exhale, then your stomach goes in. It goes flat. And think of exhaling, you're exhaling toxins. The more you exhale, the more toxins you will be releasing. So just, we're going to just breathe. Close your eyes and just relax and forget about your anxieties of today and what you were worried about. Just let all that go. This day is gone. Tomorrow's a new day. It's a new beginning. Breathe. In 4, and out. And if you're standing, stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, and just twist from your body, from your waistline and your hip, and just let your arms flow with your body. This is a good thing to do before you go to bed because you're allowing yourself to release all that tension that's in your shoulders. And just stop and just breathe. Breathe in 4 times, hold 2, and breathe out 6. Together. In, hold, exhale. One more time. In, hold, and exhale. And And let your right ear drop to your right shoulder, and tuck in your chin just a little bit so that you can get that good stretch. Raise it back up. Inhale and exhale and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Tuck in your chin. Inhale back up. Inhale one more time. 4. And exhale. Thank you so much for joining us again in our breathing session, pranayama. And thank you for listening to our show.
Peace and good night. Namaste. We'll be back on next Wednesday, and may you have a prosperous week and enjoy your life. Find your purpose. Live your dream.